the Sefirot, gateways to higher consciousness, energies, and things that we want in life, like manifesting, abundance, health, better relationships, and the unfoldment and the achievement of our life path. This ancient gateway system represents the path in which God, or all that is, stepped down its energy so that it could experience itself, for example, as a human being, and that we could experience another human being seemingly separate. As God condensed or subdivided his energies, her energies, each time a gateway, an attunement, a porthole was created to block or shield those energies so that God energy could experience itself, herself, himself in another form. The tree of life has roots in the Jewish Kabbalah and older yet, the Egyptian mysteries. We're going to start with an overall look at the tree of life. You can see the diagram with the 10 Sefirot, or spheres, attunements, blocks, portholes of higher energy. In the Kabbalah, they didn't write that much about each of the Sefirot, thinking that words are like a thumbprint of a much bigger, deeper meaning. Initiates, disciples, would meditate on the symbol, which you shall see many times in this video, of each Sefirot. And as they meditated with the thoughts that emanations from behind that shield would seep through and they would experience the unit of higher consciousness. Well, we're not going to take the little drips from meditation. We're going to use an attunement, undo the sound lock, and blow that energy channel wide open. So let's look at this tree of life as a whole. The top 3 Sefirot represent the beginnings and the journey of God. It starts with Ketara, or crown, the void, limitless, potential, nothingness. And this emanation, these top 3 Sefirot, are the stage of emanation in which you see Source revealing itself and dividing into more masculine and feminine, not in the terms of women and men, rather intellect, action, nurturing emotions for male and female. So on your right, when looking at the tree of life, we have Chokhmah, which is the male energy of this high potential of God, pure potential. It's action, it's intelligence. Off to the left, we have the Sefirot entitled Bainach, wisdom, nurturing. So think of Chokhmah as the seed and as Bainach as the nurturing and the growing of the seed. As we begin to look down, I'd like you to imagine a little line drawn underneath these 3 Sefirot. That line is called the abyss. God created a tool to help lower energies, lower, so that one again could experience themselves as an individual, like we do every day. To cross the abyss, one must either create the ego or let go of the ego, depending on which way you cross the abyss. When I try to stamp out, get rid of, ignore my ego, I'm usually not very successful. I've had a lot more success pretending that my ego is like a partner in a car drive. I'm the driver, and they're just the passenger. I find with love and simply observation that I'm able to take complete reins, leaving my ego behind, rather than stepping on it or squishing it. But that is definitely a process that each one of us must achieve as we become all that is. And on our journey back, of course, it will be to leave our ego behind. Think of an ego as an energy that compares you to another, that's looking for self-affirmation, perhaps secretly wanting to be better than the other, when in reality, we are all. The next three Sefirot represent the creation process. On your right is Chesed, and on the left, Gevurah. Think of Chesed as mercy and Gevurah as justice. The ancient Kabbalah teachings suggest that all of the Sefirot on the right side are somewhat expanding, action-oriented, where those on the left side are constricting, nurturing, shutting down. In the stage of creation of these three Sefirot, the third Sefirot in the center is Tiferet. And Tiferet represents beauty. The Sefirot in the middle column represent a balancing of both, an integration of both ends of the energy, the plus and the minus, of the female and the male, of the action and of the inaction. Now, if we could just pretend again to draw a line right underneath Tiferet, the second Sefirot in the middle column. That's called the veil. Often we've heard of being able to see behind the veil. The creation that happens with Gevurah, Chesed, and Tiferet is that of souls. Think of the souls of your archangels coming into being self-aware, but being without form. We could talk about these three Sefirot as understanding. And when you cross the veil, we're getting more into the world of form where we live. So crossing the veil, the next three Sefirot are Chod, Netzach, and Yesod. On the right is Netzach, firmness. On the left is Chod, splendor, and Yesod, the foundation. This is the formation stage of God as he comes in to experience life in and through us. The final stage is Malkut, and Malkut is in the center, thought of as the kingdom, perhaps the kingdom of man. It's also thought of the realm of action. Again, notice that you can put these Sefirot into columns. There's a chart here dovetailing these Egyptian, Jewish Tree of Light Sefirot with the Masons and their three temples. The female temples, or the left column, being justice, wisdom, justice, splendor. They would describe the middle column as beauty, including the crown, beauty, foundation, and kingdom. And the right column is mercy, intelligence, mercy, and firmness. And again, just noting that the left column includes the energies of severity, of opposition, of restriction, whereas the right is of expansion, action. The middle being balance and synthesis. It's consciousness, it's mildness. In the Jewish Kabbalah tradition, creation began with the Word. In the beginning was the Word. Therefore, the letters in the Hebrew alphabet, there are 22 letters, are in a way like little tiny Sefirot. They are energy packages representing all that is. And the different ancient languages of light represent creation from another star system. So in this manner, the Egyptians, the Hebrews, are also dovetailing the Sefirot with the sounds of creation and all of the possible emanations of creations and combinations. And it dovetails nicely on top of the tree of life. We're going to go on and we're going to listen to the sounds, to open the shields, to open the seals, to allow this higher energy to enter into our being. Although it took millennia and even beyond time for us to evolve into matter, the return journey is quite quick. So to empower these portal openings, we're going to listen to the sounds, the actual sounds created to block the energy. That will be done in pitches and harmonics. A harmonic, just an after ripple of sound. Harmonics are easily given and we receive them by using vowel sounds. So we're going to say the name of the Sefirot. You'll be given the actual shape, which is also a frequency and an energy that you're going to trace with your finger. We're going to ingest the sounds in the background and also through our eyes, the sight of the shape. And also I will give you the associations. Particularly in the Egyptian tradition, each Sefirot had various gods, goddesses that oversaw this gateway or this treasure trove of divine energy. So these ascended beings can be channeled and their energy can be delivered while you're listening to the portal opening of the Sefirot, which is done. During the periods of time, sometimes it would be overseen by one god and then another. So I have channeled the many gods that have overseen a particular Sefirot. There are also many other types of associations, and they all have frequencies, and they're all twinkling, sounding, just mixed into the beautiful sound track. As we go through each opening of each Sefirot, I will list the associations and the sound frequencies that are included in this portal opening sound code MP3 track. The tree of life can be symbolizing a blueprint of your very body, soul, mind, emotions, spirituality. It has been superimposed on the chakra system. It is very parallel to the Hindu thoughts of Kundalini energy rising from the base of your spine, and as it goes up to the top of your head and beyond, just as you start with Malkut, the lowest Sefirot, and as you ignite that and each individual Sefirot, it is parallel to raising your Kundalini energy. The Keter is the Sefirot above your head, not like a halo, but the bottom of the Sefirot touching the top of your head. This is archetypical energy, each Sefirot. I always wondered what that meant. I sometimes needed things explained for me. As we grow and we have different types of lives or experiences, we learn different lessons. And as we become patient or wise about love or gain street smarts, it's a certain energy when we have achieved such a personal goal. And that could be called an archetypical energy. So each Sefirot is the wonderful success, the energy of victory for a multitude of possible experiences in life, and combined, they cover them all. The tree of life is often called the life of the universe. Numbers. Each Sefirot is numbered. If you think back to the Pythagorean mystery school, and his famous quote is, "All is number." Just what in the world do we mean by that? In this system of thought, the world is a vibration, like an expansion and a contraction, like a sound wave, like a word. Each number represents a certain energy pattern. For example, 1 would be 1 expansion and contraction. The numbers 1 to 9 represent the building blocks in which all the other vibratory energy that our world on so many levels is made up of can be found in just the numbers 1 through 9. So the numbers are corresponding to each Sefirot, as together they make up the successful palette of all that is, and the return voyage to our home with all that is.